Have you ever, really thought about the grim, dark future and wondered if an army could literally make its beat-up vehicles go faster just by, well, believing it really hard?
Or maybe if a whole species was engineered specifically for war, then turned on itself and somehow got even better at fighting.
Yeah. And what if the most, I don't know, relentless threat in the whole galaxy isn't some super cunning plan or overwhelming tech, but just pure, joyful, violent fun?
Well, welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today we're plunging headfirst into the huge, brutal, and honestly pretty paradoxical world of the orcs from Warhammer 40,000.
We've got some amazing sources you shared digging into their unique biology, that reality-bending belief thing they do, and just their whole place in the 40K universe.
Our mission really is to unpack what makes these big green guys not just another tough enemy, but one of the most enduring and, frankly, weirdest forces out there.
We're going to figure out why they are the way they are and what that means for everyone else stuck in the path of their Waaagh. So let's just start there. What is an orc, really, at its heart?
Okay, fundamentally, orcs are these big, brutish, war-obsessed aliens. Their whole existence. It's fighting and making more orcs.
Okay.
The massive, muscled, green-skinned, well, engines of destruction. Huge teeth, loud voices, massive egos. They're not subtle creatures.
No subtlety needed, I guess.
Not really. They just absolutely love a good fight. It's like their main form of expression.
And it's not just a pastime for them, right? It's literally why they exist,
Right.
which changes everything strategically compared to, well, almost anyone else.
Exactly. For an orc, war isn't about achieving something else like survival or galactic domination or some grand ideology. The sources describe it as a joyous, never-ending spectacle, even a celebration of brutality. It's the only life they get. They don't know peace, don't want it.
Okay, so that's why they're often called this huge threat, right?
Yeah.
Because you just can't stop them with reason.
Big Krork.
1.000 hook start.
That's the core of it. They're implacable. You can't bargain with them. You can't really reason with them. You can't truly defeat them in a way that sticks. Unlike almost every other species fighting for land or resources or ideals, orcs fight because they were literally built for it and because they enjoy it.
Yeah.
That singular focus, war for war's sake, that's what makes them so different. And honestly terrifying if you're in their way. Approx 1.00 hook end.
That is, yeah, really counterintuitive. A whole species existing just for the fight itself.
Yeah.
It really does sound like they were engineered. So if they didn't just evolve naturally, where did they come from? What's the origin story there?
And that's where it gets really, really interesting, and something a lot of people might not know in detail. Orcs, not natural evolution. They're basically a biological weapon left over from a forgotten age, made out of necessity. Their ancestors were called the Krork.
The Krork, right, I've
Yeah.
heard that name. Super ancient lore stuff. Who made them, and who were they fighting?
The Krorks were engineered by these incredibly ancient, almost godlike beings. The old ones.
Ancestors of the Eldari.
That's them. This was way back during the War in Heaven, this absolutely galaxy-shattering conflict.
Yeah.
The old ones needed something potent to fight the Necrons.
The spooky robot skeletons.
Right. Them and the Cetan, those star god things. So they designed the Krork to be the perfect soldiers, self-sustaining, massively strong, tough hides, could regenerate like crazy.
Wow.
They were meant to be this green tide, basically, unstoppable.
Like living weapon system. But how did they go from these perfect soldiers to the chaotic orcs we know? What went wrong after the old ones disappeared? Approx 2.00 hook start.
Well, once the old ones fell, their empire crumbled. The Krork, they were left without that guiding intelligence, that purpose.
Plain orders.
Exactly. They lost their original mission, started fighting each other. Their super intellect kind of dimmed as their whole society just collapsed into anarchy.
So they devolved.
Over millions of years, yeah. They became the orcs, trading that strategic genius for just pure, happy violence. And their biology is still super weird. They're not just animals. They're like a hybrid. Animal and fungal DNA.
Okay, animal and fungal, that's unusual. How does that work with reproduction? How do they spread everywhere?
It's actually terrifyingly clever. They don't reproduce like we think of it. They release these microscopic spores.
Spores.
Yeah, whenever an orc dies or even just where they fight and spill blood, these spores get into the ground, they grow underground, and eventually, boom, new orcs or grots or squigs.
No, wait. Imagine a battlefield. Every orc that falls is basically planting seeds for the next wave, ensuring the war never ends.
That's pretty much it. You can never truly, fully exterminate them from a planet once they've been there. New orcs will just emerge, sometimes years later.
Or a society where you're basically born knowing your job. Like, the big war boss knows he's the boss. The little grot knows he's, well, a grot because of genetic memory. Approx 2.00 hook end. How does that even work? How does this whole chaotic mess function, let alone thrive? And those machines they build, how do they even stay together?
Their ability to make it all work despite the chaos is kind of amazing, and it really hinges on something even stranger. The Waaagh.
Ah, the Waaagh, the collective psychic field thing.
Exactly. It's this latent psychic power they all share, an unconscious collective psychic field that can literally, well, bend reality around them. It's not just in their heads, it's a real force.
Now, this is what always gets me and what I really want to unpack. How does this belief thing actually work? We hear the stories, but how does the Waaagh make their crude, junkyard-looking weapons and vehicles actually function?
Because they look like they shouldn't, right? Like a kid built them.
Totally. Is it really true that if they paint a truck red, it goes faster just because they believe red makes things go faster?
It absolutely is. That's probably the most famous piece of orc lore. Their tech just defies physics half the time because they collectively, powerfully believe it works.
Wow.
And the more orcs you have, the stronger their belief, the more powerful that Waaagh field gets. So you get thousands, millions of orcs together. That psychic field is overwhelming. It lets their machines do impossible things. Turns maybe into definitely.
That's just wild. But, okay, here's something I've heard debated. This idea, the red goes faster thing.
Yeah.
While it's real in the lore, is it maybe a bit of a meme? Like, maybe exaggerated sometimes. How deep does the belief power actually go? Does the tech still need to, basically work? Approx 4.00 hook start.
That's a really sharp point, actually. And yeah, some sources do suggest that while the collective belief gives them a huge advantage, the extent is sometimes played up, almost like a meme, as you said. The underlying tech probably still needs some level of basic functionality. The Waaagh isn't pure magic, like conjuring something from nothing. It's more like a massive psychic lubricant,
Right.
a booster. It nudges things along. It pushes their crude engineering past its normal limits. So it's less pure creation, more. Empowering what's already there, even if what's there is barely holding together. It makes their ramshackle stuff work better than it logically should. Approx 4.00 hook end.
So not quite magic, but like reality-bending amplification. Got it. That makes a bit more sense. Still crazy, though. With all this chaos, the biology, the belief, how does orc society even stick together? Shouldn't it just collapse?
You'd think so, but it works on a very simple, very effective principle. Might makes right.
Ah, okay. Survival of the biggest.
Literally, the war boss is in charge because he's the biggest, the strongest, the one who can beat up any other orc who challenges him. It's a brutal physical hierarchy. Constant struggle for the top spot. Only the toughest and, well, cunningest make it.
And they have different clans, too, right? Like different styles of working this.
Exactly. Despite looking like pure anarchy, they actually have these large, pretty stable clans.
Yeah.
Each one has its own unique traits, colors, culture, favorite ways to fight. They're different, but they all serve that main orc purpose: war.
Give us some examples. Like the Goths.
Okay, Goths. They're the biggest clan, the most brutal. Your classic orc, really. Black armor, love getting stuck into close combat with big choppas. You hear, wah, wah. Probably Goths charging in.
Makes sense. What about bad moons?
Bad moons are the rich ones. Their teeth, or currency, basically grow faster, so they have more teeth to spend. They love flashy, loud, powerful guns, lots of daka, always showing off.
And the speed freaks, the evil sons, they're the red ones, right? The ones living the red goes faster.
Yeah, that's them. Evil sons are totally obsessed with speed, fast bikes, fast trucks, everything painted bright red because, yeah, they believe it makes them faster. They want to be first into the fight.
Then there are the death skulls, the blue ones.
Uh-huh. Death skulls are the cunning ones, the looters. They paint themselves blue for luck. Weirdly, they think they learned that from other races. They'll steal absolutely anything. Bolters, tanks, shiny bits. If it's not nailed down, they'll acquire it.
I've also heard about blood axes. They seem different, almost unorky, tactical even.
They definitely stand out. Blood axes are the most tactical. They're known for doing weird stuff like negotiating sometimes, temporary alliances, even working as mercenaries for non-orcs.
Wow.
And get this, they're the only orcs known to actually retreat if a fight's lost, just to come back later, which is pretty shocking for an orc.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right for them.
And finally, snake bites. They're the traditionalists, not big on fancy tech. They prefer raw strength, old ways, riding giant, angry squigs into battle instead of vehicles. Very primal.
So all these different clans, different styles. But when a real Waaagh kicks off, led by some huge war boss. Does all that rivalry just pause? Does it become pure momentum?
Totally. When a really big, charismatic war boss rises up, his Waaagh field starts pulling in orcs from all over. Clan differences kind of fade into the background. They unite in these massive, galaxy-shaking hordes.
And their whole way of fighting is just, go!
It's all about momentum. Overwhelming numbers, pure aggression, never stop. Hit hard, hit fast, never stop moving forward. That's pretty much their doctrine. Their weapons, shootas and choppas, are built for brutal close-up work.
And they build those massive war machines too, right? Gargants?
Oh, yeah. Gargants, huge walking war effigies of their gods, and they even use weaponized space hulks sometimes. On the tabletop game, this translates perfectly. They're a horde army. Lots of individually weaker guys, great in melee, but vulnerable if you can hit them precisely from range.
They sound relentless.
Mm.
Do they worship anything? Like gods? Or is it just a wild walk?
They do have gods. Gork and Mork, they're described as these primal forces that basically embody what it means to be an Ork.
Gork and Mork. Brutal but cunning, and cunning but brutal.
That's the classic line. Gork is the raw power, the direct approach. Mork is the sneaky, tricky violence, two sides of the same green coin. What's interesting is, unlike chaos gods who corrupt their followers, Gork and Mork don't really demand anything. Orcs serve them just by being orcs fighting. Every battle fuels their gods.
So the gods are just reflections of the orc way of life, not active manipulators.
Pretty much. They embody the orc ideal. It's less about worship, more about being. How do they stack up against the other Xenos races? They seem so fundamentally different from everyone else.
Yeah, how do they fit in that big, messy galactic picture?
They really stand apart. Take the Eldari, elegant, psychic, ancient, tragic. Orcs are the complete opposite. Crude, direct, living only for the fight, no concept of tragedy.
Now the Tyranids, both horde armies, but very different.
Very different goals. Tyranids want to consume everything, all biomass. Orcs just want a good scrap. They don't care about eating the galaxy. Tyranids have the hive mind, complex bioforms. Orcs have, well, the Waaagh and duct tape.
Right. I remember reading about massive wars, like the War of the Beast. That was orcs, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the War of the Beast was huge. A massive orc Waaagh that nearly broke the Imperium. It's actually why the Death Watch Space Marines were founded.
Wow.
And right now, there's the Octarius War. It's orcs versus Tyranids in this massive sector. Approx 7.0 hook start. And here's the really crazy, maybe galaxy-altering thing about that war.
What's that?
Both sides are getting stronger the longer it goes on. The Tyranids evolve new ways to fight orcs, absorb biomass. The orcs, they thrive on huge battles. They get bigger, stronger, more numerous the more intense the fighting gets.
Oh, wait. You have two factions that literally get better at war by fighting each other, locked in a never-ending conflict. What does that even mean for the rest of the galaxy's power balance? It's like a perpetual motion machine of violence.
It's a deeply unsettling thought, isn't it? A war that only strengthens both participants. Where does that end? How does that impact everyone else? Approx 7.00 hook end? And what about the Necrons? The guys the Korks were built to fight.
How do today's orcs deal with them? Ancient grudge match?
Not at all. The orcs don't care about ancient history. They see a Necron tomb world waking up and just think, ooh, look, shiny new fight. They'll happily besiege a tomb world just for the fun of it, completely oblivious to the Necrons' grand plans or ancient power. That's orcs for you, no long-term memory, just the thrill of the now.
Total indifference. Okay, what about newer players, like the Leagues of Votann or the Tau?
Well, the Leagues of Votann, the Space Dwarfs, they're all about pragmatism, resources, solid tech, total opposite of orc anarchy and belief-powered junk.
Right.
And the Tau Empire, young, expanding, focused on diplomacy, the greater good. They couldn't be more different from orcs, who you absolutely cannot reason with, and who find the idea of a greater good completely baffling unless it involves more fighting.
Even things like gene stealer cults, relying on sneaky infiltration.
Completely different threat model. Orcs are upfront, loud, direct, overwhelming numbers, no subtlety involved.
So it sounds like nobody really teams up with the orcs. They're just their own thing. An unpredictable force of nature.
You've hit it exactly. In the 41st millennium, alliances between Xenos are rare and fragile anyway, but with orcs, forget it. They are, as the sources say, an implacable and almost invincible foe. Approx 10.00 hook start. You can't reason with them, you can't bargain, you can't permanently stop them. Their whole existence is geared towards conflict.
Which leads to a pretty stark conclusion for everyone else, doesn't it?
It does. For the Imperium, for the Eldari, for everyone. The orc problem isn't something you solve, it's something you manage. Endlessly. They're a constant green, violent fact of galactic life. Approx 10.00 hook end.
So circling back to where we started, this paradox, they were made as a weapon, they kind of devolved, but somehow got better at being this constant threat just by loving the fight itself.
Their biology ensures they keep coming back. Their belief system lets them punch way above their technological weight. It all just feeds into this cycle of glorious, endless war. They aren't trying to win in any way we'd understand it. They're just fighting.
It's an enduring puzzle, isn't it? They just don't fit the mold. That ability to thrive on pure, joyful conflict makes them utterly unique.
And utterly persistent. They are, like you said, the galaxy's inevitable, green, and weirdly cheerful nightmare.
Yeah, it really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? If belief can literally warp reality in this universe, what does that imply about how things really work in 40K? And if war is genuinely a celebration for them, their highest calling, what does victory even look like? For them or for anyone fighting them? When is the war ever truly over for a species that finds its meaning in the fight itself?
Definitely something to mull over. We hope this deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of the Greenskins has given you some new perspectives and maybe sparked a few aha moments. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Let us know your own Waaagh thoughts. Definitely subscribe if you want more knowledge shortcuts like this. And hey, leave a review. It helps other people find these deep dives. Until next time, keep digging deeper.